Hello everyone, and thank you for stopping by the channel. My name is Talisha and I also go by CreativiTeeByT, and if you are new to watching the channel, I do welcome you and thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you consider subscribing. And thank you to all of my returning subscribers for coming back and for your support. So before I get started, I do want to address an issue that was discovered from my previous video, which I believe was on Wednesday, which was the Suzanne top that I made for the BHM Pattern Designers Challenge. I showcased the Suzanne top, which is or was a free PDF pattern by Style Sew Me Patterns, and the link to getting the free pattern that I put in the description box for some reason is no longer working. I have sent out a message to see what happened, but at this time I don't know why the link isn't working, and I also don't know why I can't find it on the actual website anymore, because when I created the video I double checked and I could. So I do want to apologize for that, because I didn't know that that was the issue, and like I said, I don't know why it wouldn't be there, but hopefully it will be back and fixed and up and ready so that you can get your copy if you so choose to. And again, I do apologize for that, and if I do get an update, I will make sure that I will put that update in the community tab for you all to see. So today I will be sharing the second garment that I made as one of my contributions for the Black History Month Pattern Designers Challenge. This is a challenge that has been hosted by Natieda of So Natural Dane, and she has been doing this every year for the last 4 years. The challenge is a challenge for those who sew, quilt, crochet, or anything of that nature to make something that was designed by a Black pattern designer, and or purchase fabric from a Black owned fabric or yarn store, etc. You get the point. The challenge has been going on throughout the whole entire month of February, and it will end on February 28th, which is the last day of February. But if you would like to look at all of the makes that has been submitted so far, just follow the hashtag bhmpatterndesigners and you will see all of the lovely makes and entries for this challenge. So for today's make, and my second contribution to this challenge, is this top that I am wearing that was designed by Nikki Brooks, who also goes by beautejadore, and she was a licensee or had a license through McCall's patterns for some time, and she made this pattern, which is McCall's 7580. Nikki no longer designs patterns for McCall's, but some of her McCall's patterns are still available through digital format, and they're available on the McCall's website, including this top that I am wearing, McCall's 7580. It is still available as a digital PDF download. And since then, Nikki's brand birthed an independent pattern company named beautejadore, and all her PDF patterns are available for purchase on her website. So that particular brand, she has a whole library full of PDF patterns, and it's separated from the McCall's pattern. So when you go to her website, you'll see a link for her McCall's pattern, and you'll also see one for her own brand, which is beautejadore. And she has some really nice patterns, and her style to me is just so classy and chic, and her prices are very reasonable. None of her PDF patterns are over $10 if I am remembering correctly. So there are some items that you can order as already made that are higher on her site, like she basically sews them up and sends them to you, but none of the PDFs are more than $10, which is not the case for many other independent pattern companies. So I would encourage you to check her out, even if you don't plan on purchasing a pattern, just so that you know what she has to offer in the event that you may want to purchase something later. But yeah, I thought that the pricing was super good, and I absolutely love the style. So win-win-win for me. So I picked this pattern as one of my patterns to make because I remember when this pattern was on the shelves when I first started making garments, and I just thought the sleeves were like all that in a bag of crunchy chips. Okay. I really wanted to make it, but I didn't want to push my limits because my sewing skills were still developing. So I purchased the pattern to make it later on when I did develop, you know, more sewing skills that would help me to make this confidently, but I never did. So this year I was prepared to make it, and I pulled the pattern out, but I outgrew the pattern size that I had originally purchased. So I went on a search and I found it online on an Etsy shop, and I ordered the pattern in the right size, obviously. So I went ahead and made it, and I also wanted to make the pants, and I had the pattern pieces all cut out and ready to cut the fabric, but something just kept pulling at me and told me, measure the waist, measure the waist, measure the waist. So I had measured the hips already, you know, and the finished hip measurements were on the pattern, and I did fit into those measurements, but the waist measurement was not. So I measured the waist, and the actual waist pattern piece also had the finished waist measurements on it, and no, there was no way I was able to get my waist into there. So I mean, yeah, that just wasn't gonna happen. Even, I mean, no, it just wasn't gonna happen. So I was disappointed about that, because I did purchase fabric specifically for that purpose of, you know, making the pants within this pattern. But I did find an alternative pattern to make some black slacks using the same fabric, so I'll do that later. And I am happy that I was able to make the top. So let's talk about the pattern and my experience while making it. So again, this is McCall's 7580, and I made view A, which is the top, and the pattern description for this is Mrs. Top and Pants. And the fabric recommendations are going to be your gabardine, your crepes, crepe back satins, and your cotton blends. And I made it out of a cotton canvas, and we'll talk about that later. So the sewing skill level is set as average, and I do agree with that because of the amount of pleats that you have to make in order to construct this top, and also the installation of the invisible zipper. The pattern pieces that I used were 8 different ones, and those pattern pieces were the lower front, the upper front, the back, the upper sleeve back, the upper sleeve front, the lower sleeve, the front neck facing, and the back neck facing. You will need thread as your notions. You will also need 1 hook and eye and 1 9-inch invisible zipper. I did not use the hook and eye. I took the zipper to the top. So the pattern sizing comes in size 6 to 22, and the size 22 actually has a finished bust measurement of 50 inches. So I thought that was pretty good, considering you usually don't get that large of a measurement for the bust from the big 4 unless it's a wider dress or something that has to be made with knit fabric, and this is woven. So I thought that was pretty good. The size that I cut was a 20 because I was nervous about the fabric that I used, and I wanted to make sure that I could get this top on. However, it was a bit big in the arms, so I did have to make adjustments, and honestly, if I had gone down to the 18, which is a size that was like the perfect size measurements, I still believe I would have had to make those adjustments because of how much fabric I had to take out. That wasn't just one size pattern. But overall, I do think that it looks like the photo drawing on the envelope, and the instructions were very easy to follow along with. The things that I loved about this pattern, you already know. I love the drama with the sleeves. Love these dramatic sleeves, and I love the simple boxy cut style of the actual top portion with, you know, the bodice in the back. There was nothing that I disliked about the pattern. I didn't learn any new techniques because I've done all this before, but as far as the first time experience, yes, this was the first time that I made this amount of pleats on one garment. I mean, I think it took me longer to mark the fabric for the pleat placements and pinning the pleats than it took for me to actually sew this garment up as a whole. I mean, I know that when you want a statement sleeve, you're going to have to put some work in. That's just a given. So I knew it would take some time, and I was okay with it, but I just didn't think it would take me as long as it did for me to do all the marking and, you know, to actually make the pleats. So yeah, it took a while, and I had to vent. I needed somebody to vent to, so I had like recorded this little clip and sent it to my little sewing buddies so that I could get that frustration out. And I'll actually show you the clip. Look at this, okay? This is the lower sleeve for that beautejadore pattern that I'm doing, this one right here. Look, ladies, look at all the darts that I had to put in this one. So of course you got to do it to the other side. Then there's a lower or upper sleeve. Had to put darts in here and on the other side. And then there's an upper sleeve back. Had to put darts here, other side. And then there's the back piece. I had to put darts here. And then we have the front piece, and I had to put them in here too. Just so much. So the fabric that I use is this cotton canvas. I actually love yellow, but I don't have a lot of it. So I thought to myself that I was going to make my top yellow like Nikki's because I thought it was beautiful, you know. I couldn't find yellow anywhere, but then when I went to Walmart, and I always browse the fabric, and I, you know, how I do, and I came across this fabric in the like home decor area. So guys, I really love this top, and I wanted to make it in yellow because I love yellow, but I could not find any yellow fabric. But I went to Walmart and I found some pre-cut fabric, 2 yards. So I picked up 2 of them because I need a little bit over 2 yards to make this top. And this is actually home decor fabric, but it's not super hard, it's not super stiff, I should say, and it's not too soft, and it's thicker than standard cotton because it's cold here, so I wanted it to be thicker. So this is perfect, and I'm so happy to use this for my project. The only issue that I had with this fabric is that it leaves ghosting marks on the fabric from using a disappearing heat soluble pen. You can't see a lot of it because the pleats are hiding the ghosting in the folds of the sleeves, but in the pleats, but where you can see it, it is obvious. So I hope that it does wash off when I do put it in the wash, because you know, I don't want it to be there. But again, I purchased it at Walmart, and it was like $10 for one 2-yard pack. I did end up buying 2 packs because I needed more than 2 yards because it's 45-inch fabric. So as far as alterations or changes, because my sleeves were so big, I did have to take in about 3 inches on the sleeves at the bottom, and I gradually took it in towards the top, you know, like coming in at like an angle. But at the base, it was about 3 inches to start off, and like I said, you know, once I got up to the top seam, it was like 0. But I mean, they were just way too big. I also did not insert a hook and eye. I believe I mentioned that earlier, because I took the zipper up to the top, and I also took 2 inches off of the sleeves at the bottom because it was hanging too low past my wrist, and I really didn't like that look. I didn't want to look baggy, so I took those 2 inches off, and then I gave it a 1/2 inch sleeve allowance, and hemmed it, so it worked out okay. I don't have any modifications, recommendations other than taking in your sleeves if yours are as big as mine were. But I would definitely recommend this pattern to others because it's so super duper cute. And if you need practice with making pleats and darts, this pattern is going to give you that. You'll never have to practice again. So this pattern came out in 2017, and it was available in a printed format, but you can now only find it in a printed format if you buy it via Etsy, Facebook, or Amazon off of someone who's just selling patterns. You can also find this pattern though on McCall's website at thesomethingdelightful.com and purchase it in digital form. So only in digital form on the website. And at the time that I recorded this video, which is just only like a day. I usually only record them like a day in advance. It was on sale for $3.99. So if you like this pattern and you want it, I would encourage you to check out the website to get your digital copy. So now I will enter a few more photos and clips of my top so that you can see it a little more in action. So I really love this top, and it really stands out from the other garments in my wardrobe because I don't have many like this, or like in the same family with all the pleats and the big statement sleeves. I'm trying to build that up, but I don't have a lot. So I'm really loving this. This is so me, and I'm here for it. So please let me know what you think about this top in the comments below, and make sure that you take some time to go to Nikki's website to check out her other PDF patterns, because like I said, she has some cute ones, and you can also follow her on Instagram for inspiration. I will leave the link to her website below, and I will also link to her Instagram below. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what I'm getting ready to say. Please take a pause for the calls and click the like button, and also click the subscribe button and the gray notification bell so that you can be notified of future videos. And again, let me know what you think in the comments below, and stay tuned because I will be showcasing my final make for this challenge on Sunday. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all of my new and returning subscribers for your continued support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!